Hello and welcome to Impact Africa, our online talk show where we get to have conversations with diverse people and organizations who are impacting lives positively. And at the same time, we use it to celebrate positive news, people and places across Africa. My name is Dr. Kemi Adebayo, also known as Mama K. And in today's program, to share a story is my dear sister. Yes, you know, I have sisters all over the world. This one is a special sister. She is gentle, she's compassionate, she's a social entrepreneur, and her name is Mrs Immaculate Akello. She is the founder of Inner Outer Beauty, which is based in Kisumu, Kenya. So we are going to Kenya today, and it is my dear sister Immaculate. So Immaculate, welcome to Impact Africa.
Thank you so much, and I'm so happy. Thanks for inviting me.
You're most welcome. So tell us, who is Immaculate? By the way, I just love that name. I've never met anybody called Immaculate. So you're the first person for me on a personal note that I know as Immaculate. Who is Immaculate? Where were you born? Where were you educated? How was family growing up? You know, just tell us about yourself.
Wow. Thank you, Mama K. That name has high standards. So even for me, sometimes I find it hard to live by those standards. Okay. As Immaculate, I'm a wife. I'm a mother of a 12-year-old boy. I'm a Christian doing business. And that is so important to me. And then I'm a friend, a sister. I'm also a researcher, a monitoring and evaluation professional, and also a social scientist, among other things. So I'm very passionate about safeguarding human dignity. However, somebody chooses to define what dignity is. And that is what drove me to become a social entrepreneur. So I was born in a place called Siaya in the western part of Kenya. My mother used to work there as a teacher. And then later we went to Nairobi and I schooled in Nairobi throughout. So I came back to Western Kenya again when I began working. Yes, before now I decided to go into business. So among my mother's siblings, I'm the middle child. We are 5 and I'm the middle child. And you know,
how is it being a middle child?
You just know what they say about middle children. We are the mediators, we are the negotiators, we are the ones we keep the family in balance. So for my education, I'm an anthropologist, that is a social scientist. So I did my first degree at Nairobi University. Then I did my master's at Cambridge University in the UK.
I have a son who is the alumni. He went to Cambridge as well. So my son as well. Yeah. So you did your master's in Cambridge. That's interesting. Wow.
Yeah, thank you.
And I didn't know all this bit about you. So you grew up, you know, with your mom as a teacher in there. So what's the tradition, culture like in Kenya? How is Kenyan culture? Tell us a little bit about what food, music, you know, how would you describe a Kenyan?
So in Kenya, we are so diverse. Can you imagine we have 47 tribes and each and every tribe has its own culture. So for me, I come from a tribe called Luo. Now in this western side of Kenya where I'm living currently. And then for us, we live around the Lake Victoria. So mostly we are fishermen. We like fish. We eat a lot of fish. I can describe for you.
No wonder you look so healthy.
Oh my
goodness. Fish is
good. We have so many tribes also. Maybe there's some in the coastal area, there's some in the central part, and they have different type of food, which is their traditional food. But generally in Kenya, we are known for a meal called ugali. It is like fufu. Is it fufu? The one for Nigeria.
Yeah, we both use fufu in Ghana and Nigeria. Don't mention Ghana. We are competitors. We Nigeria is fufu. Sorry, my Ghanaian brothers and sisters. It's all good.
Yeah. Okay. So actually, it's a common dish across, but now, different ethnic groups have their own traditional food. Yeah.
So what language do you speak in for you, you know, or are there a lot of language? I know there's Swahili, but what other languages, you know, do you have in Kenya?
So in Kenya, we have the 47 tribes. So it means like we have, for me, our national languages are Kiswahili, and then also English, which is used mostly officially and also in schools. Yeah, but the national one is Swahili. So for myself, I speak Swahili, I speak English, and I speak my mother tongue, which is Luo. And I learned a bit of French in school, so I just have a working knowledge of it. I speak it when I need to.
Ça va?
Ça va bien, merci.
Et tu. That's all I know. So now let's go back to you, in terms of what you said about what got you into business and, your passion and value in terms of, you're passionate about dignity. So when did you start Inner Outer Beauty, and what is it about? What do you do? And, why?
You know something, if I'm to talk about my story, it's intertwined with my mother's story. So I began Inner Outer Beauty about 3 years ago. And sometimes there are things which happen to you in life, and then I think you revisit them at later years. So for me, the turning point in my life was about when I was about 12 years old. My mother was a government school teacher. We were 5. So you can imagine the kind of salary she has to take care of 5 children, paying rent, doing all these things. So a lot of time I watched mother making decisions to do with life and death based on whether she was able to take care of us or not. So there was this point whereby she was very sick. She was taken to hospital and she refused to be admitted. That was because she was wondering, how are my children going to survive? Who's going to take care of them? Yes. So she signed to remove responsibility from the hospital so that she could come home and just be with us, no matter. And she was very sick. So at that point, I stared poverty and how degrading it can be to human. And I said that I need to do something to ensure that women, girls, and especially people who have children can have something which can give them dignity. You don't have to make a life-death decision based on having money or not, and especially if you have children. Because, women will always make decisions based on their children. So later in life, 3 years back, when I decided to start business, I had that in mind. And more so, I was focusing on girls between ages of 18 up to about 35, and mostly also ones who have children and they don't have anyone to cater for them, because I felt because of their vulnerability, they just do anything. Some of them do sex even to just get 50 Kenya shilling, less than £1, less than $1, just as in to buy food for their children. So I wanted a space whereby girls can come, have a safe space, have support, are mentored. At the same time, they get a dignified pay, and also they feel dignified. Yeah. So that is why I began it. Yeah.
Wow, what a story. And I like the fact, that you said, it's kind of intertwined with your mother. How does your mother now feel, for you in terms of where you are, and the journey, for you? And what are you mostly proud of so far? I know, yes, it's only 3 years, but I'm sure there's some moments, maybe some of the girls, that you've had experience, with. What are you mostly proud of?
Yeah, thank you. Life is really funny. Funny enough, my mother died even before I went to do my but I'm sure wherever she is, she's proud of me. Yeah. So for me, even if she died, I think there are some journeys which I traveled with her. I saw how she was somebody who taught us how to dance in the rain. She said problems are going to come, but it doesn't mean they have to determine your life. So growing up, it was a struggle, but we're happy. And I saw her making decisions, planning and executing them. She was a very prayerful woman. That is why also for me, I believe in the power of prayer. So I do what I need to do. My motto is grit and faith. I do what needs to be done. And I accompany it with prayer. So she was able to achieve much more. By the time she was dying, she had bought a house in Nairobi. We were no longer paying rent. Yeah. She had done so much. Yeah. So when she died, I realized that part of what I acquired was that grit. So for me, it doesn't matter how things look like. I always believe I can change. It's only a matter of time. So how has the journey been? When I began the business, I didn't have the confidence it takes to run a business. No, I used to be so cautious of what are people going to think. I left my job to start a business. I don't know, the way a business takes time to, before it becomes maybe like you start earning something. So sometimes I used to question myself. I'm like, am I crazy? Am I really doing the correct thing? As in, did I leave my job to come and become broke? So I struggled. Can you believe, Mama Kay, I began by hawking. I didn't have a place to work on. Yeah. But I kept at it until I got a place. Now at least I have a shop. And then when I began working with girls, I identified the girls who are coming in. Most of them, from my point of view, I was seeing that these are vulnerable girls. They have children. But I was wondering, how comes they're not serious with whatever they're supposed to do in order to be able to take care of the children? Sometimes I would find the shop open, there's no one inside. The girl has gone maybe to talk to somebody. Sometimes I'd find I've not reported on time. So my thinking at first was like, they're not serious. Let me fire them and get somebody who is serious. But as I continued working with them, I realized that when you're working with girls who are vulnerable, most of the time they're broken. So they're coming to you not only to get a job, but also for you to mentor them. These are young girls who need to be told how to take care of their children. These are young girls who need to be told how to take care of their money, how to budget and all that. So that when that realization came, I stopped thinking of firing. I began now modeling everything I was doing, according to empowering these girls. And that is what I've been doing. So I've seen these girls growing. And the one whom I have currently in my shop, the thing which makes me feel like the door needs to be open and my dream is valid is every time when she looks at me and she tells me, thank you so much, you have changed my life so much. I find like I have a space where I can come and rest my head. And I realize some of these girls, they come from background whereby every moment somebody is telling them you're useless, you can't amount to much, look at you. So when they come to that safe space and they have somebody who tells them, you know, I believe in you, you can do it. See, you're doing things. It really means a lot to them, yeah? So I've been working on also like coming up with systems. When I began, I didn't have business knowledge. But as you know, Mama Kay, now joining AWEC, I've been fortunate now to meet sisters who are in different stages of business. I began talking to you and talking to other people, and also from the learnings, I've now started strategizing because I'm seeing this business going international and I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, yes, I need to put maybe even a model on how I'm going to ensure I empower more girls, even if I need to do it in a small space. Yeah, so it's still a journey, but I can tell you I've grown personally. These girls have also mentored me, and I've also met people who have made me know that my dream are valid, and I can clearly see where I'm going now.
Wow. You know what? On that note, we'll need to stop for a quick break, but I salute you, my dear sister, already. I'm so intrigued, but we'll be right back.
Thank you.
Sister Immaculate, I am so humbled, by your story, the story of greed and faith, which you said you've made your motto. And the fact that, you had somebody, your mother, who kind of is entwined, like you said in your story, and working as well with the young girls who are vulnerable and changing one life, at a time. So to you, what would you say success means? What is success? What is success? What are the qualities as well as a leader? Because obviously you are a leader now, to even if it's one person or two or three. What are the qualities, that a leader needs to have?
Okay, I will start with defining what success is. For me, success is aligning myself with God's will for me. Because when I began, I told you that for me, I'm first of all a Christian, then a business person. So once I know that I'm a Christian in the field of business, then I have to align myself to things which I think are valuable to what I believe in. So I believe that my life is about creating impact. And whatever I'm doing should ensure that it dignifies somebody's life, because I'm all about dignity. Yeah. So when I'm working with people, and I find that because of result of what I've done, no matter how little it is, they tell me that I'm feeling there's someone who's there to listen to me. I can take my child to school. I can now put food on the table. People now look at me and see like I'm a somebody. I'm no longer a beggar. I think that is what I define success to me. And that is what makes me feel that this dream is worth fighting for. So that is why I define success, just moving and impacting one life at a time. Because Mama K, you'll agree with me, in African setting, when you impact one person's life, that person has dependence. So it's like one person you impact, you have impacted 20 lives. Yeah. Correct. And I'm so sure even the generations she's carrying in her stomach are going to be better because of what you have done. Correct. Yes. And one thing I've realized also, you just don't impact their lives. They also impact your life. You can imagine how I feel and also what I learned from them. So coming to the second question, what I can define maybe qualities of a good leader. Sorry. Number one, a leader develops leaders. I don't believe in creating followers. I think my work becomes easier when I make people also become empowered. And I've realized working with girls that we look at people and we see like they're empty vessels, but people come with packages, that things which they have, which already are there just waiting to be discovered or waiting to be, to be ignited. Yeah. Yeah. So for me, I like developing leaders. So from day one, I study you and I see like, what is it you can do well? And then I keep trying to enhance that. If the skills you need, I don't have them, then probably I'll connect you with somebody who can enhance that, so that I can also bring you up in a way that even if one day you leave me, you can still grow and become self-efficient. Yeah. So number one, a leader always looks at developing other leaders. You don't create followers. Yeah. So I give you the keys, and I also just follow you to motivate you and also to direct you to ensure you also grow. And then a leader also has to be empathetic. And especially in these times where we are, mental health is because people are dealing with so much. So you always have to think with the other person in mind. You just don't make noise. You first of all need to ask yourself, what is it that I'm not seeing? Yes. And that has really worked for me because I come to discover other things which I did not, when I keep talking to people.
I want us to stop for you to get water?
Please. Let me just get...
All right. We'll be right back.
Pathetic.
Okay. So, wait. No?
The other thing which I think a leader has to have is to be hands-on. This thing about waiting to be served, you have to be somebody who is ready to serve people. I believe that on Sundays and Saturdays, we go to church, to service. But when we come out here, so we have to be ready to serve. You are the group you're leading, they have to see you also going out there and also being able to work with them. You work with them, not just giving instructions. So I think that is the best way in mentorship, so that they can also imitate the kind of hard work, the kind of maybe what you put in all that you do. And then last, I think a leader has to be visionary. They say everything starts and collapses with the leader. Everything grows or collapses with a leader. So you have to be visionary. These are people who want you to take them somewhere. So you have to create that vision for them. And they have to see that that is a story they can buy into. And most of the time, they're going to buy into it if they see that you're the kind of leader who really cares. Most of the things my staff do for me is not because I'm good. It's because they see I really care. And most of the time when they talk about me, they talk about that caring part. And I think that is what motivates them to work as if they're working for their own company. Yes.
Wow. I can relate to that. And I think they're valid things, you're saying, sharing in terms of the qualities. And, for you, your definition of success, I just love that. So now let's go into, your journey, which you shared at the very first segment, where you, like you said, you saw poverty, basically. and through your mom being ill and things like that, and looking after five of you. So for you, what are some of the lessons, life lessons, that you will share with a younger Immaculate, maybe a 10-year-old Immaculate, to say, if I know this, or this are what you can do or not do? Are there any key, I know I'm asking a little bit too much, because your journey is huge and big, and you're still on that journey. But if you could just give us key pointers that you share with a younger 12-year-old Immaculate, to say, okay, these are lessons, for you in the future.
Yes. Based on my journey.
Into maybe even becoming a social entrepreneur or anything,
Okay.
Yeah.
Based on my journey, I can just say that don't let anything in life put you down. Sometimes you might not understand what is happening, but your job is just to keep walking. Because that journey, there's nothing in life, no experience, there's nothing which you go through which doesn't build you up. You'll keep walking, and sometimes you'll see like you're suffering, but it will reach a point whereby that will actually be the basis of why you do what you actually do. So, for example, Mama K, if I did go through that experience, probably I was somebody who was brought up maybe in a household where I did know poverty. Do you think I could have begun this social enterprise? And right now, maybe people say that I'm caring, I have empathy, but it's because when somebody tells me they slept hungry, I can actually relate.
No, you felt it.
Yes. So I say sometimes, just like Steve Jobs says, you just connect the dots. Now, when you look back, when you're walking, you might see that I'm suffering. You might see that nobody understands me. But what I can tell a young girl, or I can tell my younger self, just keep walking and just take everything that is being thrown at you as lessons. One thing I've discovered as an adult now, I like learning from people's problems more than successes, because problems and challenges are what have made them what they are. And if I can try get those problems, probably they're going to save me a lot. Yeah. So for me, challenges, problems are actually my food. And then for these young girls who want to become social entrepreneurs, I'll go back again to saying that I'm a Christian who is doing business. Why am I saying that? Once you understand that if you're a Christian or whatever maybe you believe in, once you understand, like, for example, for me, I'm first of all a Christian. You will know that when you're a Christian, you're actually doing more than just looking for money. You're actually doing more than just looking for fame. You actually have a duty to impact each and every place where you are. So for me, when I look at it from that lens, I think actually everybody in business, everybody who is maybe working, everybody who is doing any vocation is actually somebody who can impact any other person in a social way. For example, even if you're serving in a restaurant, come out knowing that, like, today when I meet people, I want to put a smile on their face, and how you serve people is going to be different. So even if you are in a field where you think that probably you're not a social entrepreneur, I'd challenge you by saying that, look at what is it when you wake up in the morning, when you leave and you go to an office, when you leave and you go to your business, what is one thing you want to do for the person you meet with? Even if it's an animal, what is one thing you want that person to be grateful for having met you or for you having served them? So once we look at it like that, you will know that you're a social entrepreneur. You are investing in people. You are investing in lives. You're not just doing what you're doing, and it's going to have a different impact on your life. Yes.
Wow. 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 Beautiful nuggets you're giving there. Just keep walking. You're investing in people's life. Don't let anything in life put you down. I know it sounds all catchy, but, sometimes we need to hear this, all the time, and to keep hearing it. And I'm glad you're sharing that with us. I've been told we need to stop for a break, and we will be right back. Wow, my dear Immaculate Akello sister, so much, you've shared there. and I'm just loving you more. I loved you before, but now I'm even loving you more. And I love the fact that you kept emphasizing your faith, the fact that you're a Christian first, even before anything. So I believe it's your faith, that is pushing you and driving you in all that you do. So, and I know you spoke earlier on in the first segment about, the fact that, we're both AWEC code, Five Sisters. I'm sure people are thinking, what's AWEC? What's AWEC? So AWEC is African Women Entrepreneurship Cooperative. And that's how myself and Immaculate met. And she's already shared some of how, for her, AWEC has impacted her life. But at the same time, I just want to now hear your experience, so far, in the journey of AWEC. And shout out to all our AWEC sisters, especially our team D, Team 7, Joyce, Priscilla, Morenica. Let's not forget anybody. Cheryl, who have I forgotten? Too. So Immaculate, how has that experience? I know you did mention a little bit of how it has influenced you anyway so far, but share, any experience, because I'm just fascinated about that program. And I think it should be a degree program. We should be given proper certificates.
Mama K, AWEC has revolutionized the way I think about business. When I started business, I began it out of my conviction and also passion. But I didn't have systems, I didn't have structures, and I think that is what has kept me small. So here at AWEC, you'll agree with me, you have a forum where you meet with experts, who is who in whichever field you need to grow in business. We meet, we have these peer sessions, we have these live sessions, we have group works, we have workshops, and you have a mentor and a program manager who follows you up to ensure that you are keeping up with whatever you're supposed to do. And the social network, wow, I've met sisters like you from Nigeria, Ghana, South Africa. I've met people who have really inspired me. I'm seeing people doing businesses. They're social entrepreneurs. There are people who are very passionate about whatever they're doing. They're ready to share experiences. So what I can say is that AWEC is actually an MBA on adrenaline. I can say that what I've gotten in AWEC for free, oh my goodness, I'd be paying dollars just to get that knowledge. And then they really care about giving quality. So I'd advise people who are not in AWEC, there's a call which has gone out for cohort 6. Please sign up if you are really serious about making change. Whatever I've gotten, I'm now sitting down and I want to change that business so that I can really impact a lot of people. In fact, I'm already thinking of a new name for my business and putting inner outer beauty as the slogan. So yeah, AWEC, I can say, is gold.
Awesome. And if you do miss, I think the cohort 6, there's 7 next year. You could start preparing and getting ready for it, because it's not easy. We apparently, in our set, we had over 2,000. They had over 2,000 applicants and they selected 200. So we don't joke with it. And yeah, like you said, it's an MBA, it's a degree on it. I have my MBA as well, but I was not as pushed with my MBA as I've been pushed with this one. But it is valid. And I liked what you said there, about, system, processes, people ready to share. So there's no, and it's a safe space, where you don't feel threatened, or you don't feel, oh, are they going to make fun of me, or I can't speak English, the way I want to, or not, So yeah, thank you, for sharing that. And I know I'm passionate about it. That's why I'm asking that question, to you now. So in closing, I have a question for you. I mean, my last final question. I know you're passionate, about poverty alleviation, which is basically what you're doing through your social enterprise at the moment. And I'm glad to hear you're developing it, man. I love, the inner outer beauty as a slogan. And we're watching the space for what is coming out of it. So for you personally, what social issue, are you passionate, about? And what are the solutions, for addressing such solution? And why? Why are you passionate? I know you're already doing what you're doing, unless that is, it's about keep people, beauty, dignifying, the vulnerable young women, as well. So unless there's anything else, so do share.
Okay. So from my social enterprise, I'm mainly interested in ensuring that young girls and even young boys are educated, because most of these girls who get pregnant early, most of them drop out of school. Some of them are rejected by their parents, and some of them even come from a poverty-stricken situation. So once they drop out at 18, 19, some of them maybe even 17, 15, basically for most of them, schooling is over. But for me, I believe that you are not your mistake. So you still have an opportunity, because the thing about dropping out of school early, it means you are still a child, taking care of a child. And if we don't address that issue of ensuring like this girl can still get a space whereby she can feel like she's wanted and she can feel like she's still somebody, and she can have an opportunity where she can work somewhere and take care of a child at the same time enroll for school, it will result in a generation whereby I dropped out of school, my children are also not going to school, and their children are also not going to school. So you can see the kind of society. And I usually say that you don't know who your child is going to marry. And definitely, I want my child to marry somebody who is also empowered and forward thinking, yeah? So for me, I try, my social enterprise is actually aimed at dignifying people through ensuring that they eliminate poverty in their life by having some money to be able to feed their children, to be able to have a place to stay, at the same time to be able to go back to school. Like the lady who is working with me, the plan this year is for her to go back to school. She has already told me she's interested, because what she has is a Form 4 certificate. So she wants to do a diploma in dietetics and nutrition. And I'm feeling that as in, that is something I can shout about. And I'm so proud of her because she has kept the focus. Yes.
Wow, well done. So there's something I wanted to just say, just in that, what you've just said with the lady with you, and the fact that you're working with a person, as well, and following her journey, so now she's going, you're planning for her to go to school to further education, which are solutions, as well. Are you at the same time ensuring that there's continuation? That might be in terms of for your business. Are you making sure you're training, before she leaves or as she's leaving, she's training somebody so that person too will train, so that person will mentor? I'm sure you're working on all those systems and processes.
Yes, those are the systems I'm now working on with your help, Mama K, because you are very good. You're a social entrepreneur and you're so good in systems and all that. So those are the help I'm now currently working on, and also creating a model whereby they don't really need to work in my shop, but I can create a system whereby I can work with many people who can invest in themselves and also be able to grow. So those are part of the plans which I'm doing with you. And I'm looking forward to a really great organization which is going to impact life with your help.
Wow. My dear sister, I salute you. That's all the questions I've got for you. And I really appreciate what you're doing in your way, gradually impacting lives, one life at a time, and educating them, making sure they're dignified, and being able to generate as well funds for themselves. And like I said earlier on, I like that motto of greed and faith, and it showed throughout our conversation that your faith, it's solid in God. And my prayer for you, I'm not a pastor, but my prayer for you is continue to trust and obey him, and he will continue to guide your step, give you all the right persons, shut the door that needs to shut, open the doors that needs to be open, and favor, will continue to follow you. So thank you for impacting lives positively. We celebrate you, we hear you, we see you. because sometimes we're doing these things and we're like, does anybody know what's the struggle I'm going, through? But like you said earlier on, I like the fact that you said, I'll rather find out about people's challenges and struggles and problems, because I believe they're areas for me that I can learn from, not what they've achieved. And I know as well, for me, those are the focus, because it helps you, it guides you, it pushes you, as well, to say, wow, maybe I thought I had struggled, but now this person, not that you're comparing, but it pushes you to do more, to be there for people more. So, Immaculate Akello, thank you. Founder for Inner Outer Beauty. And yes, we've claimed that you're a CEO already. In fact, Executive Director, President, Chairman, all those titles, we're already giving it to you as you continue to re-strategize, where you're going, and God will keep giving you that clear vision, of where He wants you to be. You just keep trusting and obeying Him. So, in closing, I always get people to do this. I know people have been listening, and there are things, hopefully one person, even if it's one person that your life story speaks to, that's enough for me personally. So, but in closing, I want you to now direct and speak directly, just words of encouragement directly to anyone that you want to speak to, be it, like a young girl maybe struggling in teenage pregnancy, or even a young boy who has impregnated a young, a girl as well, or someone who wants to start a social enterprise as well, or a Nigerian who is saying, wow, I love what she's doing with the beauty and her hair thing. I want to hear more from her. So please, words of encouragement to anyone you decide to speak to.
Okay. One thing I can say is that what I've learned in life is that all of us are here for a purpose. All of us have something to offer, and your work is actually to create impact before you leave. So I want to encourage you, no matter what is happening in your life, just hold on to that pen, because you're the one who is writing the history about your life. You're the one who is writing where your story is going to lead to. It doesn't matter. That path doesn't have to be straight. It has never been straight for most people, at least for the people I know who have been successful. So hold that pen very strongly. Keep writing, whether it's going zigzag, whether it's going straight. And then the other thing in life is that no matter where life takes you, always learn to bounce back, always learn to be flexible. Don't think because I have a degree, I cannot do this, I'm finished, when life is now looking like it's lost. You have to be somebody who keeps the focus and say, I will get there. It doesn't matter when, it doesn't matter how, but I will get there. So that is the only encouragement I can give you, because I don't know what you're going through, but one thing I can tell you, you will get there if you keep the focus and if you believe anything is possible. For me, I always say that there's nothing impossible with God. And that is what I live by. Thank you.
Dearest Immaculate Akello, I celebrate you once again. Thank you. We've really enjoyed hearing your story. Me personally, a lot of people think, oh yeah, she's the one, they host, and just like the way you said, when your staff think, yeah, you're mentoring them, but they're mentoring you. You think you're sharing yourself, but I'm being blessed by you. I'm being impacted by you sharing, your story. And thank you, for your time. I can't wait to meet you. And I'm hoping, that when we do meet, we'll be able to hear more, and see more of stories. And we'll want to hear your journey again, just to see, like you said, because you're changing things based on what you've learned and reviewing things. So we want to see and come back to hear you, the follow-up. So is that okay? Are we allowed to do that?
Yes, I'll be very glad. I'm sure you'll find me at a very different space. And I'm also so grateful for having me and for allowing me to tell my story.
Right. Thank you, Immaculate. Thank you so much. Asante, asante, asante. Thank you. Well, That, guys, that's all we've got time for today. It's still Impact Africa, our online talk show with me, Mama K, your host and sister and daughter, or whatever you want to call me. It's fine. Till next time, remember, just stay safe, stay blessed. Remember, God is love, and I love you. How do you say bye-bye in Kiswahili?
Kwaheri, kwaheri.
Oh, kwaheri. I know that. Yeah, kwaheri, kwaheri.
Thank you.
Thank you.